Lady Raider basketball puts up record numbers in a thrilling victory over Oklahoma State. I'm Taylor Peters alongside Robert Giovanetti. Thanks so much for being with us today on Double T Insider. But first, Gio, we have to talk for just a second about the most exciting story in sports right now. And former Texas Tech quarterback Patrick Mahomes is the youngest player ever to be named NFL MVP and now Super Bowl champion. What an incredible weekend for the Chiefs.
You know, I told somebody yesterday, a reporter from a local station, I think all of us here knew that in Lubbock, and Texas Tech fans knew Patrick would be successful in the NFL. I don't think anyone could have envisioned how successful so quickly he's been, but also that he's changed the face a little bit of the NFL. He's become the guy in the NFL and could be that way for the next 10 to 15 years.
He made Chiefs Kingdom proud. He made Texas Tech fans proud. Congratulations to the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Now, speaking of exciting wins, the Lady Raiders had one of their own as they set a Big 12 record for the most 3 points scored in a single game, 109-79 over Oklahoma State here at home. Just an incredible win for this Lady Raider program.
It's fun to watch that progression with Coach Stallings and what she's trying to do with the offense, and I think we're seeing it play out. This team has improved each and every game. The thing that I love most about this team is there was a point here early in conference play that I thought it might be easy for them just to kind of fold it up
Sure.
and just kind of mail it in. But they've played hard the last couple of games, and it's starting to pay off for them.
Yeah, that's a really good point because they've had to live through a lot of peaks and valleys that have come, you know, going undefeated in the non-conference, and then you start Big 12 play here at home over Iowa State and kind of get kicked in the mouth a little bit. It takes a lot of resolve to be able to come back from that first loss in Big 12 play and to be able to now win in overtime, go on the road and play the way they did against Baylor, and then, of course, get this huge record-breaking performance.
Yeah, there's a mental toughness to them that it's hard to develop that, especially after the hard knocks this program has taken over the last few years. Last year was a great step forward. Now this year, it's moving even more forward, and you got to love what you're seeing, and you got to just give so much credit to Brittany Brewer too, is the leader of this team, and she's been a warrior these last couple of games.
Absolutely, and then you have Kristlyn Carr, another player that we've talked about a lot here on this show, and she would have finish the game with a career high 13 assists. And we've talked a lot about the way that she's developed as really a true point guard, and that just really validates the growth that she's made and kind of the selfless decision to distribute the ball more when she is fully capable of being able to score.
She has matured more than any player that I think I've remembered in the last few years, and because last year she had to be the scorer and she liked to have the ball in her hands at certain points, but they have so many weapons now. She knows she doesn't have to be that person. She can still put up the big numbers if she has to, but I think she's taking pleasure in distributing the ball as well.
But the men's basketball team didn't have quite the same luck on the road as they would go and face off against number 3 Kansas there on the road, and the Jayhawks were just really, really good on Saturday, and Texas Tech would fall by just 3 points, and that's really tough for this team right now.
That's a tough place to play. We all know that Allen Fieldhouse is really a tough place, but you're down 17-2 before you even really look up. I mean, it's 17-2. They fought back again, had a chance at the end to possibly tie the ball game at the end. So I know we're not in the moral victories around here, but that's one. Now you look at the next stretch of conference games that this team, I think, can start to learn from those games, and they've passed kind of the really more difficult part of the schedule, and now I think they'll be able to make some noise.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it right there. Big 12 life continues, whether you're ready or not, and Texas Tech would host Oklahoma on Tuesday night and came away with a much-needed win in Big 12 play.
Yeah, Taylor, in a back-and-forth affair all night long with 17 lead changes and the game tied 10 times, the Red Raiders finally came out after a run in the second half, defeating Oklahoma by a score of 69-61. OU led by 1 at the half and built that lead to by as many as 5 in the second half before the Red Raiders got hot. And TJ Holyfield and Kyler Edwards both with big nights. Holyfield with 21 points. Edwards added 17, including 3 from long range. So big win for the Red Raiders. They now improved to 5-4 on the year in Big 12 play, ending the first half of the season. They'll head to Austin to get the second half started.
Last but certainly not least, incredible numbers for a lot of the athletes here for Texas Tech track and field as they host really a premier meet in all of college indoor track and field right now. But Gio, now they're going back out on the road. They finished their homestand, but they're going to get to go compete in the site that's going to host indoor nationals.
Really smart move by Coach Kitley. I think if he looked back last year, the one thing that he might have changed last indoor season is not getting his team out on the road at least once. And so not only are they going out on the road, but like you mentioned, at a place that they'll be back later this year.
Good luck to Coach Kitley and all of Texas Tech track and field this weekend. Coming up next, we're going to go into detail about that thrilling victory for the Lady Raiders on Saturday.
20 made threes, set a Big 12 record. These are things that could take 20-some years before you're talking about them. They just, again, don't happen very often. So incredible performance by our young ladies.
Gillard, straightaway three. Yes, ma'am. Goodson, left side three. Yes! Adams, right side three. Bingo. Three again. Good again.
You only get a split second to get that shot up, and we work that all the time in practice, outside of practice. And we had Cece over here with these 13 assists. She was getting them to us, so we just knocked them down.
Welcome back into Double T Insider. There were so many storylines in that huge win for Texas Tech on Saturday, but the way that those bench players were able to come in and execute and contribute to the game, I think, is one of them.
And he says all the time, it's cliche, I guess it's cliche for a reason, that it's contagious. Shooting is contagious. And once those threes started falling, it was incredible to watch. And you mentioned the bench players, but also I love the fact that the starters, maybe when they were sitting on the bench, they were the biggest cheerleaders in the arena as well.
So much excitement in that win for Texas Tech over Oklahoma State, and we were there to capture it all.
February is the month of separation. It's your will against theirs 90% of the night.
This win would really be a feather in a cap for either one of these teams.
You go out there and you play with your heart and you play as hard as you can.
I think it's here and it's not going anywhere.
Calling the play, pulling the trigger from three.
Big shot by Kristen Carr. They're going to need her to step up and make shots like that today.
The real shift happened in the second quarter, and I want to give credit to our freshman, Alexis Tucker. I thought she came in and really spearheaded that run. I was able to put the ball on the floor, but I thought that she really shifted the momentum of the game.
Three is true. I can see why Dre wanted that basketball.
Well, I always know where Dre is going to be because she always makes eye contact with me. So. Brittany, she's a 5-player shooting threes like a guard, and it's just insane.
And that will end the first half of play. You are not going to want to tune away from the TV for a second when 20 has the basketball. It's a turnover. Kristen Carr ahead of the pack. You betcha. Everything is going right for the Lady Raiders. Adams for three. 18 triples on the day, and we still have a quarter to play. Boogie, you betcha. The 20th three-point basket of the game and setting a Big 12 conference record with
Took Sydney out of the starting lineup. She just waited for her opportunity. She took full advantage of it today. What do you think about that?
She's amazing. She never shows any body language, and she is one of those kids that just loves to play and works hard every single game. She gives her all every time she gets on the court, and it's just amazing.
Sid just accept whatever role we give her that night. Yeah, she goes from starting, she can come off the bench, she can guard the best player. And Sid, you do it with a great mindset and great body language.
Yes,
Goodson with the shot clock winding down. You know it's your day win. Goodson hasn't missed at all today.
This group has bigger goals. They have a postseason mindset, and I think that they're really locked into that right now.
And you hear Coach Marlene Stallings saying there in the locker room at the end of that video, man, Sydney Goodson is just such a selfless player. And I feel like, every team needs to have somebody like a Sydney Goodson.
She is selfless, but she's also, I think, surprising to some people. She is tough as nails.
Oh.
But she gets in there and she fights for loose balls and she's throwing herself on the floor. She is really the epitome, I think, of what you want in a player.
Yeah, and Coach said it. She's good off the bench. She's good when she's starting. She just is whoever the team needs her to be. Congratulations to the Lady Raiders. We sit down with Sydney Goodson's teammate, Brittany Brewer, next on Double T Insider.
He's a West Texas native who donned the scarlet and black on the football field in the late 1950s. The two-year letter winner earned a bachelor's degree in education before graduating from medical school. As an orthopedic surgeon, he served the Amarillo community for nearly 3 decades, never forgetting his ties to Texas Tech. He's been a member of the Board of Regents and the Chancellor's Council. But Dr. Bob Stafford's proudest achievement is family. These are the real people of Texas Tech.
just being close to home, only 2.5 hours straight shot from Abilene, and I'm just so grateful that my mom and my family come to every single game that they can, and she really cares about like me playing basketball a lot and just supports me, and she's always been super supportive. She was recently diagnosed with melanoma in October, I think, and so that was like a little bit of a scare. She's the first person in my family to really be affected by cancer, and so we didn't know really exactly how to deal with it, and we didn't know how bad it was. I think that she gives a lot to our family and to the community. Just to see the partnership with women's basketball and K-Yao is super, super special, and Coach Marlene does a great job of educating us on really what an honor it is that we get to do this, and how it's a really, really unique experience. My name is Brittany Brewer, and I play for my mom.
Welcome back into Double T Insider. I'm joined here by senior Brittany Brewer. Senior, the time has gone by so fast.
Very fast.
And you guys are just playing such good basketball right now here in your senior season, and you've really reached a peak. And you said after that huge win against Oklahoma State in the post-game press conference, man, this is the most fun that I have played, that I've had playing basketball. What makes it so much fun for this group?
Yeah, I just think that it's so fun because of the energy we have like on the court, and we had to adjust some things from the beginning of season energy-wise, and like ever since then it's been like so much fun, and even in practice the energy is so much better, and just we have a lot of fun playing together.
You talked about kind of making some adjustments, and we've seen some shift in the starting lineup here in the last few weeks, and really just kind of throughout all of conference play. And in particular, that game on Saturday, you have Tuck and Sydney Goodson both come off the bench and had just amazing games. Coach talked about how selfless Sydney Goodson is in the locker room after the game. What has it been like for you just to kind of watch her develop over the last couple of years from, transferring and then, playing last year and now being somebody that contributes so much this season? Yeah,
so Sydney is super selfless. That's, I think, a perfect word to describe her. She's going to bring her A game no matter like what position she's in. And I just she's so inspiring, especially to every single player on our team, just to see how she brings it no matter if she's coming off the bench or if she's starting or if she's guarding the best player on the team, she's going to bring it. And or if she doesn't even get a shot the whole game, like against Baylor, she's going to bring it. And so to have her as an example for the younger players is also super, super important.
And speaking of those younger players, I mean, when Coach Marlene talks about developing a culture, it really starts in those players like, really, I mean, Lexi Gordon, but also Naila Dillard and Alexis Tucker. And so when you kind of consider moving on, from this Lady Raider program as you graduate, how excited are you about looking back and knowing that, man, this program is in the hands of these players who get it?
Yeah, no, I'm super blessed to have to be able to leave it in their hands and to know that they're going to work just as hard as I did, and just to know that they really want to continue the legacy, and that my 4 years here and then my time with them was fruitful as well.
And we just saw a video of you just a second ago talking about this Play for K game, and it's obviously a huge initiative in all of college women's basketball. And so to be part of what the K-Yao Foundation is doing, how proud are you just to be able to kind of represent that movement in this Play for K game coming up this weekend?
Yeah, I'm super proud to be part of the K-Yao Play for K game, and just to know that Coach Marlene, how much she's told us this is so important, and just to know how much she honors K-Yao with this game, and it just helps us to play harder and helps us to just want to go out there and represent, obviously, Texas Tech University for this fund, but also just to show our support. And it's just so special that we get the opportunity to do that.
And you'll, of course, be facing off against UT for the second time this season. Now that you guys have been able to be in some big moments and to really capitalize and put some really important wins under your belt since you saw them the last time. How excited are you about just the approach that this team is going to have moving into this weekend and facing off against a great UT team? Yeah, our approach is completely different. I think that the UT game that we played before, our energy was not there, and then obviously we fixed that. And so if we carry that and we go out there and we play a lot harder than we did against UT, then I think it's going to be good. And we fixed a lot of the fine-tuning things, and I think we have a really a big hunger and intensity. Well, good luck to you guys this weekend, Britt. Thanks so much for being here with us. Thank you. Stay with us. We'll be right back on Double T Insider. Welcome back into Double T Insider. We are talking some Texas Tech softball with senior Carly Hamilton. Carly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited that you're here. And I'm excited to get to talk about this year too, because Coach Gregory has been on the show and she is just thrilled about this group and what she's already seen from you guys, especially in the fall. When you look at, the start of the season is here this weekend. What maybe makes you the most excited about this group?
The most exciting thing is definitely that we have so much depth. We have never had anything like this before, to where we've had multiple people with talent fighting for a position, and so it's nice to know if something happens to somebody or if we get injured or whatever it could be, that there's people there that we have ammo with.
And that, depth is a lot. It's kind of a lot of different things because, like you mentioned, if someone gets hurt, there's somebody else that can step up. But also, it's challenging the starters in practice to know that they are really fighting for a job every single day. And how have you seen that kind of change maybe the approach that some of those returners have had?
Right. It definitely, I think some people struggle with some discomfort, some questioning, but ultimately we're all kind of at the space to where we're all getting better, and it's just making us better. It's making us compete every day. We don't have to compete against ourselves anymore, and we're actually competing against somebody else, so it's actually a really good competition. And especially at shortstop, we have three really great shortstops fighting for a spot, and they just do such a good job at pushing each other, helping each other out, and kind of making a good culture within that group.
It was really fun to get to watch you guys last year too, because you had such a great, year and such a good conference schedule. Then you go to the LSU regional, and I think that's when a lot of people really kind of were surprised, wow, look at Texas Tech, because you played so well and you fought against LSU there, even in the end. How can an experience like that help to build, like you mentioned, the culture really of this program and what you're trying to do from a consistent level in the future?
Right. I think it was only gain going there. We got to experience what it would be like. We beat LSU. We played a 13-inning game with them. And so I think it just showed us what we can do and kind of affirm that in us. And then we can show the newcomers that and just keep building and taking steps forward. And so we look at it as only a gain.
Well, good luck to you guys this season, and especially this weekend as you kick things off at the Big Easy Classic in New Orleans. Thanks for being here, Carly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Stay with us. We'll be right back on Double T Insider. Welcome back into Double T Insider. Lady Raider basketball goes out on the road tonight, Wednesday, as they face off against Kansas State in Manhattan at 6:30. And then they come back home Sunday to face off against Texas for the Play for K game at a 1 o'clock tip.
The Red Raider basketball team goes on the road Saturday to play the Longhorns in Austin. That'll be a 3 o'clock tip. And then they return home Monday to play TCU at the United Supermarkets Arena. That one will start at 8 p.m.
That's all of our time for now. Thanks so much for joining us today on Double T Insider. For Robert Giovanetti, I am Taylor Peters, and we will see you next week. And if you missed any part of today's show, head on over to texastech.com or download the Texas Tech TV app on Apple TV and Roku.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.